I want to appropriate for people the reason why trauma seems to be such a buzzword on social media, because I think most people dislike it because it's all over the place. And I understand that, but it's also those people that might not realize that they have trauma in their background and they think they should just get over it. Therefore, they're comparing themselves to the rest of the world who's like making a big deal out of their pain when they have suffered pain, but they haven't been able to walk through it. And that's because emotional abuse is the hardest thing to define. It's going to be what never makes it to the courthouse for deliberation to place blame on if a parent has mistreated a child. It can look like something like a little kid going to kindergarten for the first day and being afraid and crying before he walks into the classroom, and the mom responding critically in a way that's like, well, you better go in there, and you can't be a crybaby either, because if you are, those other kids are going to make fun of you. Okay, that would be classified as a slight, a dismissal. The tone, the language, the way in which you're addressing a child is going to be hurtful, and that child will adapt to the way that you speak to it accordingly. And this is how silence is made. This is how aggression is made, because if mom's always going to give me this smackdown verbally, then I'll just stop talking to her. And this is also where the wonderful ability to be able to lie and manipulate comes in for a child, because if they know they can't be real in front of their parent, then they'll do so to survive. So little t trauma is going to be this everyday poke. It's like, oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're in the way. Oh, that was a dumb decision. Well, you're the one that wanted to go there. So if a child basically wants to ask for a piece of candy, and then the parent's like, oh gosh, isn't my 4 basic needs meeting for you in your life enough? And of course it's not, but people that say that, that's kind of a clue. And you give the child the piece of candy to what? Shut him up. Here, take your candy. Now will you be quiet? Those are hurtful things in ways in which we're having to portray information to a child, because the child is taking in that information as if he or she is doing something wrong. That is little t trauma, because it's the message that never stops. It keeps on going every single day. There's something that you are assuming is your fault or that you're doing wrong because of the role models, the caretakers, or the parents who basically insinuate that you are. Whenever we have a moment that we question ourselves because a person in authority would say that that's not true, we could have literally just cut our leg and it's bleeding out, and the parent be like, stop crying. That's what babies do. Or you're fine, get over it. Okay, that tells that child that they're not allowed to have their reaction and express themselves. So again, they'll close it in and they'll go silent, but don't think an impression about mom or dad or caretaker hasn't been made, because they will also learn how to lie and manipulate and get around the restrictions or the criticism that that caretaker also gives. The difference is big T trauma is going to be something that we can go to court over. So that's going to be sexual abuse, physical abuse, and all of that nature. But crisis under the home front's roof will always be concern about domestic dispute, yelling, screaming. These cause sensory issues in a child's developmental brain. So all of that is little t trauma.